Good morning, students. Welcome one and all in our today's online session. Today, we are going to do the new topic from our poetry section. So, let's start our today's session. The topic that we have today, that we have selected for our today's online session, that is figure of speech. Figure of speech is one of the most important and striking feature uh, in poetic devices. So, what is terms the figure of speech? How it used specifically in poetry? Um, what significance difference it has made? These all things we are going to discuss, or uh, these all things we are going to study in details. So let's start our today's session. Figure of speech. As I say, figure of speech are words or phrases that depart from straightforward literal language. The language that is used in figure of speech, it's something different or something uh, definitely different, and it should be definitely differ from our straightforward straightforward stereotypical regular language. Figures of speech are often used and crafted for emphasis, freshness, expression, or clarity. It why we use such a different linguistic and literary rhetorical structures, because when the speaker or when the narrator or writer, whatever you can say, want to emphasize something, you want to give a freshness, you want to give a freshness of his idea, express, you want to share his or her expression, or you want to give a clarity of thought, that time he use rather using stereotypical or straightforward language, he used a something different or irregular language, and that is a means of figure of speech. Now let's going to do what is means of figure of speech in that sense in detail. A figure of speech is a figurative language in the form of single word or phrase. It is a figurative language, and therefore we say it is a figure of speech. It can be spatial repetition, arrangement, or omission of words. It can be spatial repetition, arrangement, or omission of words with literal meaning, or phrase with specified meaning not based on literal meaning of the words. So basically, figure of speech is a spatial repetition, arrangement, or omission of words, which sometimes it had giving a literal meaning, or sometimes it not based on literal meaning, but it is a spatial arrangement of words, spatial arrangement of words, spatial repetition of words, or sometimes should be omission of words, but the special treatment that has given to the language, it should be figurative language. So that is a means of figure of speech. So now let's see the types of figure of speech according to its different uses. As I told you, figure of speech means a special repetition, omission, arrangement of words. So, on such a varied way of using the figurative language, um, the figures of speech can be classified into these, I can say, four aspects. Those based on construction or association. The example of such kind of figure of speech should be a climax, anticlimax, metonymy, right? Uh, the those that are based on sound, alliteration, repetition, those are based on sound. Those based on resemblance, simile, metaphor, personification, apostrophe, and those who are based on contrast, antithesis, epigram, paradox. These are all the examples of. So, on the base of these main ideas, as I talked with you, the figurative language and the language it use in something this different way. So by using in such a different way, figures of speech can be classified into these four categories. Now let's see those categories in details. First one is repetition. Repetition is a figure of speech that repeats the same words or phrase a few times to make an idea clearer and more memorable. It is a repetition of same words or phrase a few times to make an idea clearer and more memorable. It should be give whatever the speaker want to convey us. It should be clarified by using same words or same phrase, or it make our that particular phrase become memorable. Example of this figure of speech should be we have you might have mm, thousands of times you repeated this line, rain rain come again. So that the thing, there should be repetition of a particular word, same word or phrase, rain rain come again. It gives a clearer idea. Or we can say and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. In this example, we found the repetition of same phrase, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. This particular poem you might have studied in your 10th standard. It is by Robert Frost, Stopping by the Wood, and the last phrase he had written, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So by you repeating same phrase, it creating a memorable impact. So that is a means of repetition, same words, as I highlighted here, same words or phrase can be repeated. Rain rain come again, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before. It is easier to identify because same words or phrase should be repeated in particular sentence. So that is a means of repetition. Now we move forward and we are going to see the another figure of speech, that is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of initial consonant sound that beginning of at the beginning of neighboring words, right? So as I talked with you, it is a repetition of initial consonant sound, right? The repetition of initial consonant sound at the beginning of neighboring words. So we have written the example like that: Sally sells seashells by the seashore. What, there is a repetition of initial consonant sound that should be there. In repetition, there is a repetition of same word or phrase. Here it is a repetition of initial consonant sound at the beginning of the word with quick succession. So that is a means of alliteration. Sally sells seashells by the seashore. It is a example of alliteration. We find out more examples of alliteration. She felt the heaven of heroes and calmed down. Here the another it clear cut, there is a repetition of H sound. We found there is a repetition of initial consonant sound with quick succession. Same way we can say a friendly welcome of the wayside well. Again there is a alliteration. To make a man to meet the mortal need, a man to match the mountain and the sea. Again these all the examples of alliteration. As I told you, there is a repetition of initial consonant sound with quick succession. In the repetition, there is a repetition of same words, right? Here a repetition of initial consonant sound, not vowel sound, it should be consonant sound. So that is a means of alliteration. Now we move forward. Now we are going to see the figures of speech that based on resemblance. In a simile, a comparison is made between two objects of different kinds which have, however, one point in common. There is a comparison in between two different objects for same likeness, though they are different, but for some point of view they have something in common. So that is a means of simile. The simile usually introduce the words like, as, or so, and generally refer the words like, as, or so. The example, as the heart panteth of the water brooks, so panteth my soul after thee, O God. So that is an example of simile. Uh, in simile, there is a comparison made between two indifferent objects for same likeness. Yes, there is something in common. So that is a means of simile. We have taken the example comparison between two indifferent objects, and it shown the words like and as. The box is as light as feather, right? So it means what? The box is as light as feather. Feather means piece. म्हणजे जो बॉक्स आहे, खोका आहे, तो पिसासारखा अगदी हलका आहे. तर बॉक्स अँड feather, these two indifferent objects made compared for same likeness. There is something in common, means both are light. They want to say both are light, but in a different way. So this particular figure of speech introduce the words like or as. So here we found as. In here, this pizza is as cold as ice. Again, there is a comparison made between two indifferent objects, ice and pizza. No we in surface level we don't found anything in common, but there is something common in that. So that is a means of simile. Simile generally introduce the words like and as. So keep it mind that thing. Now we move forward. We are going to see the metaphor. Metaphor is an implied simile. It is does not, like the simile, state that one thing is like another or acts as another, but it takes that for granted and processes as if two things were one. It never shows what happened in simile, that they have two different objects, but they comes together for sameness, for something in common. But here it not treated like that. Here it treated like that they don't have something in common. This shows like that that particular thing is like that, it process like that. So here they just taking a granted that particular thing should be like that. So that is a means of metaphor. It is something different. In simile, it often introduced by words like or as. In here metaphor we don't find like that. But in metaphor, it two indifferent objects, but here it should be take granted. It should be take granted that it should be like that. So here let's see the example. The camel is a sheep of the desert. When I say the camel is a sheep of the desert, I making comparison between the camel and sheep, right? Here I had taking a granted what sheep had done. The same quality should be held by camel in the desert, and I am taking that thing in granted and treated that particular object, and therefore it is a metaphor. So that the difference between metaphor and what we know, the simile. We have taken some examples. Let's say a metaphor uses the characteristics of one thing to describe something else. A metaphor is similar to simile but does not use the words as or like. It does not use words as or like. It's implied simile. Keep it in mind. In simile, we have taken two indifferent objects for same likeness. Here it should be we treated that particular object, or we describe the other objects by taking the characteristics from different objects. So that is a means of metaphor. My grandfather says that life is a roller coaster, right? Here is life and roller coaster. There is a comparison. My teacher says that my brain is a computer. Now, here they made the comparison made between computer. Whatever the qualities held by the computer is so smart, so efficient, as those qualities hold by brain. So here it not taking as for same like me. Here it taking as a granted. It actually works like that. It actually hold those qualities, those characteristics where we want to compare. The comparative thing should be hold the qualities uh, from the words which we like to compare. Mum says my room is disaster zone. So same thing. Dad says time is money. Same metaphor, time is money. Here, whatever how valuable money in our life. So time should be as valuable as. My mom's is walking encyclopedia. Means whatever the encyclopedia, what is the features of encyclopedia? So same qualities hold by mother. Mom says that I am the apple of her eye. So apple is very delicious, and what we know, very important fruit. So as like that. Dad says my grandma has a heart of gold. So here it taking granted, while we made a comparison, we taking granted to other thing that it should be hold that qualities. So that is a means of metaphor. So that the thing, now keep it in mind. uh, Students often made a confusion between simile and metaphor. Therefore I am like to say every simile can be compressed into metaphor, and every metaphor can expand it into simile. So that the thing it should be there, that every simile can be compressed into metaphor. We can compress every simile into metaphor, and metaphor can be expanded into simile. So that the thing. Thus instead of saying Akash fought like a lion, here it's simile, we can say Akash was a lion in the fight. So we can compress simile into metaphor, and we can expand metaphor into simile. So that the same thing we can do. So there is something, these all things, simile and metaphor are quite familiar, but they have a subtle difference as I talked with you. Both figure of speech there is a comparison made between two indifferent objects, but uh, the only and subtle difference between these both figure of speech is that in simile we made a comparison for some kind of likeness. In metaphor we taking for a granted that it holds that quality. So that the difference between simile and metaphor. Now we move forward and we go to see personification. In personification, inanimate objects and abstract notions are spoken of having life and intelligence. So when inanimate objects giving human feelings, human expressions, that kind of thing, it's actually holds the qualities of human beings. That time when inanimate objects, when we compare or when we imagine like that, that inanimate object or abstract entity holds the qualities of human being, that time the figure of speech that taken place, that is a personification. Personification occurs when the author or speaker give human characters to non-human objects. When it occurs, when author or speaker gives human characteristics to non-human objects. When we give or when speaker or writer give human characteristics to non-living entity, abstract object, right, inanimate objects, that time it should be the personification had taken place. Here I have given the example. Lighting dances across the tree. The lighting dances across the tree. If you go to see this particular image, you find out the what the example we had taken. The lighting dances across the sea. No, the lighting is inanimate object, but speaker has given the qualities of human. Dancing is a quality of human being. So when inanimate object gives the human qualities or human characteristics, that time the personification had taken place. Now let's see some other examples of personification. My computer hates me. Now, uh, uh, hates, this is a human feeling, and we give these feelings to inanimate objects, that is computer. The base buzz merely among the flowers. Now, again, it should be personification. The old car sat idle, lonely, and forgotten. Again, idle, lonely, forgotten, these all are human characteristics, human qualities that are given to inanimate objects or abstract entity. The sun wearily crossed the late autumn sky. Right? Same. The alarm clock sprang to life, waking me from my sleep. Same. Waking, right? Wake up. That particular human expression or human qualities, human characteristics, that has given to inanimate objects. So that is a means of personification. The another example, the trees scream in the ragging wind. Now screaming, can tree actually scream? No, it is human trait. So we use personification to give a better description and idea that how the wind was strong. So like that, that is a means of personification when any abstract entity, inanimate object gives human qualities. That time the figure of speech that happen, that is a personification. Now we move forward. Hyperbole. In hyperbole, a statement is made emphatic by overstatement. We create a emphatic statement by making overstatement, and that is a hyperbole. The exaggeration. When we exaggerate something, that is a means of hyperbole. I have told you millions of times, right? I have told you millions of times. What is the means of that? It is exaggerated. We just exaggerate whatever we want to say, whatever we want to convey. We exaggerated that thing. When we making exaggerate means overstatement. Making overstatement, that is a means of hyperbole. And here it should be exaggerated. I have told you thousands of times, millions of times. Millions of times he never said, means frequently he told me. He want to say frequently he told me, but while giving the exaggerations or a overstatement, he pointed out, he highlighted, um, he often told me, or he often warned me regarding that. So that is a means of hyperbole. I will die if you don't stop using hyperboles incorrectly. I will literally die. Same hyperbole, exaggeration. I have taken some of the another examples. But hyperbole is a figure of speech that uses exaggeration and overstatement for a dramatic and comic effect. As I talked with you, as I told you, it is a exaggeration or overstatement. I have mountain of homework. Mountain means he want to, basically he want to say he had a lot of homework. But when he say I have mountain of homework, means mountain, he stand for his here mountain stand for mountain is very big, right? So he had lots of to do. I nearly died laughing, right? So he laughing so much. He want to say he laughing so much. So that is hyperbole, exaggeration, overstatement. He has a tons of money. Again, exaggeration. I am so hungry. I could eat a horse. Exaggeration. You could have knocked me over with a feather. Exaggeration, overstatement. I have told you million times not to do that. We already seen that kind of example. The whole world was staring at me. Whole world. Exaggeration. My teacher is as old as the hills. So, in all these examples, we found the overstatement and exaggeration. Exaggeration of saying something. So, when there should be exaggeration or overstatement, that should be hyperbole. Okay. My shoes are killing me. Again, exaggeration language used for emphasis something. My shoes are killing me means what? My shoes are hurt me very badly, right? So that is a means of hyperbole. So as like that, we have seen most important or most frequent figure of speech that we have used throughout our academic that for throughout our academic study. We have seen alliteration. As I talked with you, alliteration is a repetition of initial consonant sound with quick succession. We have seen earlier the repetition. Repetition means repetition of same words or phrase. Then we have seen simile, metaphor. What the difference between simile and metaphor? In simile, there is a comparison made between two indifferent objects for same likeness. In metaphor, there is also comparison, but here it treated that the other objects actually holds the the same thing or same qualities. That is a means of metaphor. Then we have seen personification, that figure of speech. In that figure of speech we say we have seen that when any inanimate objects give uh, human qualities by speaker or narrator, that is a means of personification. And in hyperbole, exaggeration or overstatement. So that is the so these six, I think six figure of speech that we have seen. We stop at here. I will give you some exercise. You just go through this. I have give you some exercise over here. You just go through that exercise, find out the right answers. I have given one statement on uh, one example, and there are three options. We have to find out after reading that examples. We have to find out which are the correct options from it. So that the test for you. Uh, I hope you, all of you, definitely understand our today's session. Uh, if still you have doubts regarding figure of speech, you can ask me. Still, we wrap up this session by saying goodbye. Thank you, everyone.